Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Thomas Partey and Emile Smith Rowe finally joined up with the team over in USA, and Mikel Arteta actually had something to say about Thomas Partey and Arsenal's midfield. It might be good news for everyone at Arsenal. I really hope it is true. I really hope it actually turns out to be this way. We'll also be talking about Kudus. We talked about him yesterday, but could we actually be going for him and also keep Thomas Partey? That would be absolutely crazy. And also the latest on Cedric, who's been linked with the move away. There's actually teams that want Cedric. Guys, Cedric is one of the best right backs in the whole world. We want 30 million for him. So let's get started with the news that has come out today from let's do this one first. Jordan of the Athletic, who has had his say on this situation. Thomas Partey and Emile Smith Rowe have joined the team in Washington. They won't play tonight, but will be available for the rest of the tour. So tonight, like it's very late at night, like later on, like past midnight tonight, we are going to play against the MLS All-Stars in the actual game, not the skills challenge like we had last night. And it's going to be a very late game. They won't be available for this one. Obviously, the other players have been there like since Sunday, and they've been training together. So they're not going to be available for that one, but for the other ones against Man United and against Barcelona, they will be available, and I cannot wait for them to get back with get back in training and get back with the rest of the team. But what about Thomas Partey, the main one here? We'll talk about Smith as well. Are we expecting him to stay? Are we expecting him to move out? What's the situation with him? Well, Mikel Arteta actually had his say on this, and he's speaking to CBS Sports, and he said, now we have three very good holding midfielders with Rice, Thomas, and Jorginho. I have to fit them in because they are so good and I love playing with midfielders. So we are thinking of few things we can do to maximize their qualities. So according to him, there's nowhere where he said that, okay, we have Rice and Jorginho. We're not sure if this one and that one will stay. That it does look like Thomas Partey will stay. It does look like Thomas Partey will stay. That would be absolutely incredible. Now, there was some reasons why he wasn't part of the team. Obviously, traveled with the team on Sunday. There was some reasons. I think the reason was probably settled on the 18th of July, and then he traveled that night and is now probably arriving or has arrived in USA today. And we also have an update from Fentua, who's I think the first one to report about this. And Thomas Partey has now joined up with the Arsenal squad for their preseason tour of the USA. The club are no longer keen on selling the player this summer. Oh, music to my ears, music to every Arsenal fan, probably as well. Like Thomas, I mean, there was a 5% that were like, yeah, he needs to go, whatever. But Thomas Partey staying in our midfield. I don't know if you guys understand how big that is. Like having Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, I mentioned it before. That is top 5 midfielders in the league, in the Premier League. Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Rodri, Casemiro, and Caicedo. We will have 2 of them playing for Arsenal, Partey and Rice. And the way we can play in our midfield in a lot of different ways. We can play in a 4-3-3 with Rice as the holding midfield and ask Partey to move forward a bit. We can do it vice versa, have Partey in midfield and ask Rice to play in the Xhaka role, push forward and cover the left side as well, left back and sometimes centre back. We can, if it's a tougher game, we can play in a solid 4-2-3-1 formation, have one number 10 in Odegaard, and then have Partey and Rice holding in midfield. We can actually afford to rest Partey for a couple of games and not play him every single day. We can rest him for 2-3 games, and that is another way we can keep our players fit. You know, the other seasons we've had to play Aubameyang every single game. We've had to play Tierney every single game. We've had to play Gabriel every single game. Had to play Ben White every single game. Last season we had to play Odegaard almost every single game. He missed one. Next season you have options. And that is the thing that Man City usually have. And that is why by the time you get to April and May, all those players are usually still fit. De Bruyne and Miles, because they've only played like 22 games and they've been rested for like 10 of the others. For us, by the time you get to April, May, like we did last season, Saka's played every bloody game. Jesus, apart from the time he was injured, he's played every single game. Martinelli started every single game. That is what you want next season, players to rotate. And the player who is coming in is basically the same level. Like if you have Rice or Partey starting whichever, I'm absolutely okay with that. And then if you have both of them on the pitch at the same time together, Odegaard, that would be crazy. Let's also not forget Jorginho's been mentioned on that list with Mikel Arteta as well. Last season, I think when he came to Arsenal, there's a couple of games he did really well, like Aston Villa away and Chelsea at home, especially that Aston Villa away. Apart from the goal that he helped us score, the third goal in that game, like the passes in that game. There's a pass he gave to Saka in the first half of that match. Quick thinking, quick volleyed passes. That, like, you have different qualities in the team. You have Rice, who can carry the ball forward, and ball carrying abilities A plus, and then he can also score from outside the box. Same with Thomas Partey. Rice is very good in terms of interceptions. He might have a bit of more pace than Thomas Partey. You have the experience of Thomas Partey. He's been here. He understands all the other players better than Declan Rice as well. And then you have Jorginho, someone who's won European competitions, a lot of them before as well. If you want someone to just calm down the midfield and the last 20, 30 minutes of a game, you have Jorginho there to do that as well. And being that we have a lot of competitions, like, imagine you can start Jorginho and Thomas Partey in a Carabao Cup match. Like, that's like, that not get me wide at all. Back in the day, we used to start the likes of Denilson and Amand Traore in games like that. Now we can actually afford to have Jorginho, Havertz, we have Trossard in a Carabao Cup match. That would be crazy. So this would be very, very exciting if we can keep Partey. That also allows us not to get like 2 or 3 more midfielders. If you've only lost Xhaka and you've brought in Rice and bring in another midfielder, I think we're good to go. I think if Partey stays, I think you only need 1 more midfielder and we'll be good to go. And then now for the 5th signing, I wanted 5 players to be signed, 4 to 5 players to be signed by the start of the season or by the end of the transfer. And I think at least 4 by the start of the season. Then you can start looking for someone else, maybe a backup striker or a backup winger, which we already are. So we'll talk about other players later. But Thomas Partey is looking like he's going to stay. Yesterday, Sami Mokbel reported on Partey as well, and he said it is understood that that Arsenal are not eager to sell Thomas Partey this summer, with only a huge offer likely to entice the club into sanctioning his departure. So basically, Arsenal is saying, we don't have to sell Partey. Maybe if you come with 60 million, we can think about selling him. 50 million, 60 million, can think about selling him. But if you're coming with 20, 25 million offers, he's definitely going to stay at Arsenal. We don't have a reason of selling him. We're happy to keep him at Arsenal. So this is very, very good news on Thomas Partey. Let's wait and see how he does over in the USA. Cannot wait for him to get back with the team. Obviously, Smith Rowe has also been talked about on that article. He's also traveled. His reason for not traveling with the team is because he just came from a European Championship for the under-21s and the European Championship that he won, and he played really, really well in that one as well. And he is back as well. Let's not forget about Emile Smith Rowe's quality. We have a lot of players in those positions in Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, Nketiah, Balogun, Saka, Nelson, Havertz, Odegaard, all those guys. But Smith Rowe, he was, but before last season, before he was injured a lot last season, the previous 2 seasons, he was basically in the top 3 players for us in those 2 seasons, especially 2 seasons ago, 2021, 2022. He was incredible alongside Saka. He was scoring goals at Old Trafford, scoring goals at Stamford Bridge. I remember there's a game, I think, at home to Brentford, where he just collected the ball in midfield and ran like past 2-3 players and slotted it in the far corner. Absolutely amazing. He can score from outside the box, not scared of shooting the ball. Like, Smith Rowe will bring all the qualities into our team. And that's right there, you have yet another player who can play as a left winger. He can play as a number 8 if you want him. He can play as a number 10 instead of Odegaard. Like, imagine this in the Carabao Cup, where we are used to playing youngsters and players that we want to sell. Like, we can actually have a forward 5 of Smith Rowe, Trossard, you have Reece Nelson, you have Eddie or Balogun, whoever is here, and then you also have Havertz starting there. Who knows? Rice could start in that, Partey could start in that, Jorginho could start in that. Like, very, very exciting times. It's looking like Thomas Partey will stay, and Smith Rowe is joined up with the team as well. Cannot wait for both of them to get started. And that's what I had to say about our holding midfielders. Are we actually set to add yet another midfield attacking player to all those options I've given you? Yesterday reported that Kudus, Arsenal are eyeing a move for Mohamed Kudus, but they need to sell players fast. So it's looking like Partey will not be one of those players. So who are the players we can sell to get Kudus? We can't really get a lot of money for players like Holding and Cedric. But who knows? I'm really hoping Tierney stays as well, because if Tierney stays, if it only means we are losing Xhaka from our team and keeping everyone else, I think that would be absolutely amazing. So the other players who are coming out on loan, maybe Lokonga, Tavares, maybe you can get 10 million, 15 million, then add that together. Maybe you can get like 35, 40 million for those players. Nicolas Pepe, are we going to get something as well for him? Let's wait and see. But if you can get someone like Kudus as well into this team, another attacking midfield option, another player who can play as a striker, another player who can play as a right winger. That would be great. But if we get Kudus, I'm not sure we're going to get a striker as well. So for those of you guys who want a striker, I think the options that we have of players who can play as strikers, Kudus is one of them, Martinelli is one of them, Trossard is one of them, Havertz is one of them. As much as I don't like Martinelli playing as a forward, and most people will not like Havertz playing as a forward, and some people will not like Trossard playing as a forward, we still have Balogun and Ketia and Jesus in the team. I don't think they'll rush to get another striker. I think that if they will, they'll probably wait until later on in the transfer window, maybe after the season has started. But they could be going for an extra midfielder, or they could be going for a player on loan. Who knows? We've been linked to players like Joao Felix recently and those kind of players. So who knows who we are going to get? Another fullback, potentially be linked to many fullbacks. But defensively, I think we're okay. Like if you saw the likes of Kivio and Timber yesterday in the skills challenge, are absolutely amazing. Speaking of defenders, one of them is probably leaving. Obviously, wasn't picked for the USA tour. And according to reports, Arsenal's defender Cedric is attracting interest across Europe. He's on the radar of Villarreal, Benfica, Porto, Sporting, and Premier League clubs. Hey, that's actually a very good list of teams, That's actually a very, very good list of teams that want him. So well done to you. Obviously, his home country, Sporting and Porto and Benfica. Sporting and Benfica teams we've played in the Europa League the last couple of seasons. Actually, Villarreal as well. Another team we've played in the Europa League recently. Porto, we've not played them recently, but we've seen Villarreal is a very good team. They won the Europa League recently. Benfica have been doing very well in the Champions League. Sporting beat us last season. Porto, as we know, quality team as well. And the Premier League clubs, informal discussions already happened. 350 plus pro appearances plus Euro 16 winner with Portugal is open to a new chapter. So yeah, Cedric will probably not be here next season. Despite him yesterday, or the day before yesterday, he actually said this about this. He said, Chris Whitley said, I understand that Cedric Soares' omission from Arsenal's pre-season trip to the US was a technical decision by Mikel Arteta. He's not close to a move away, but situation expected to develop in coming weeks. And another one said that he wants to stay at Arsenal and fight for his position. So I don't think he will be here. And unfortunately, I think we have 8-9 defensive options right now in Tierney, in Zinchenko, in Kivio's starting to play really, really well this preseason. He's starting to show his passing technique and his technical abilities in defending as well. I cannot wait to see the rest of the preseason. Players like Austin Trusty are still here, and I've been quite impressed. He actually won us the challenge yesterday. Obviously, the main ones, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Timber's been signed as well. Tomiyasu has recovered as well. Like we have several options, like 2 options in every position, and Rob Holding is still here. So that takes our total to like 10 defenders that we have at the team right now. So Cedric, I don't think he will be getting an opportunity, but he is good in terms of locker room and leadership and all that. So we might see him returning to Arsenal someday. Who knows? But that is the latest. Those teams want Cedric. Let's see how much you can get for him. Are you going to be able to get something for him? Hopefully. That is the latest on Smith Rowe, Thomas Partey, Kudus, and also Cedric. Let me know what you make about all that we've talked about. Later on today, we are playing against the MLS All-Stars. I really look forward to there's 2-3 things I really want to see. Obviously, Declan Rice debut. I'm not sure if he's definitely going to play today. The one I think that is definitely going to play today is probably Timber. Declan Rice, they could decide, you know what, let's just wait until Man United to give him that debut just to completely ruin Man United in that game. But for Timber, I think he could start. But I'm looking forward to seeing Havertz start the game. Forget about Havertz in a skills challenge, or Havertz coming in for 20 minutes and Arsenal fans attacking him. Please don't do that. Don't stand at the same side as rival fans and start attacking Arsenal players. We talked about this with Edu 2-3 weeks ago, and I was saying stop saying Edu out, because man still wants Declan Rice and standing with the same player, with the opposition fans attacking Arsenal players and management. Don't do that. Let's wait for him to play an actual game. Odegaard is back as well from injury. Martinelli is back. Tomiyasu is back. I think we're going to see a mixed team. We could see Tomiyasu, we could see Trusty starting in his home country as well. We could see maybe Balogun starting in his international team as well. Now, let's wait and see. But I probably will do a match reaction for that one. It will be very late at night, but I will be watching for sure. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.